Hey everybody, Chris Neidl here. I'm one of the co-founders of OpenAir. So pleased you could join our community. In this short little video, what I'm going to do is give new and existing members an overview of how our Discord server works. So some of you might already be familiar with Discord, but within the context of OpenAir, Discord is one of the main channels that really brings our community together. So for this presentation, I just want to go over some of the main functions that you're going to want to understand in order to be able to use this effectively. So hopefully it's helpful. Now, it's helpful maybe to start off with what we use the Discord for. There's different platforms that we work on as OpenAir members, a lot of Zoom calls that people get together to kind of plan and move things forward. We have a forum as well, which is more for knowledge sharing and elaborating on important ideas, which I'll get into in a future video. But our Discord, again, is really where kind of free and open communication, mostly through chat, happens, and where our members share and seek collaborators and keep people up to speed on the work that they're doing. So that's what the Discord is for. Now, right here, you're going to see just a view of the main dashboard of our Discord server. And I'm going to break that down into the main pieces. So when you're looking at this for the first time, and if you've been here for a while and you're still confused, you're going to be able to understand where you're going to go to and what the different pieces of this dashboard do. And I'm going to zero in on 5 different components of the dashboard that are really most important for you right now. And you can see them color coded right here. And I'm going to start with what we call, at least, the communication panel. And you can see that highlighted in blue here. And this is a really, really important one, probably maybe the most important one, except for what's next to it, where you actually enter your chat and communicate. So you can see that blue box right there. Now, there are 2 views that you can have or toggle back and forth between on the communication panel. Okay, the first is the category and channel view. And categories are high level sort of groupings of different subjects that other channels fall below. Channels are actually where you have your discussion around a particular thing, but they're organized here around category headings. Okay. And we'll go over what those categories are in just a minute. But it's important to know that categories are the main headings, which you'll see. And then right to the left of every category, you'll see there's that little arrow that I've highlighted pink. If you click on that, that then shows you which channels fall underneath that category. So for example, if you click on that arrow for one of our very popular general categories, which is the Learn, Share, Celebrate, you'll see all the channels that are there. And so the channels are where you're actually able to chat with other people about the subject that channel pertains to. So let's say, for example, you've clicked on the grant channel within this category. Just to the right of it, that's where most of the space is on the platform. That's where the chat occurs, and this is very familiar if you've done Slack or any other kind of chat platform. This is where you're able to actually type in or read what other people have said. And the chat panel is really intuitive and very, very easy to use. You can pretty much get the hang of it just by looking at it. Right down on the bottom is where you're going to type in whatever information that you want to share with people. Right on the bottom, where I've highlighted in a pink button, you can use emojis and GIFs and all the things that come with a typical internet platform. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the kinds of categories we have here. I'm recording this in the beginning of 2024, and this will probably remain more or less the same for a long period of time. So I'll give you a tour of what those different categories are. The first one on the top, you'll see onboarding and member support, and that has different things within it that are relevant to new people joining. So that was the sort of welcome channel that you see in there. There's a sort of a question and answers if you have any questions, and a couple of other things. So that's particularly good for new people who are coming in or trying to get oriented and to introduce themselves. The next one right below that, I actually have another video that you can find here where I go into a little bit of depth. It's a very, very important channel, and that's what we call the skill or interest tags or roles channel. And again, I'll get into that, but just as a preview for it, what that does is this allows people to come in and click on different channels to indicate what they're most interested in. So this will allow them to get notifications. Let's say if someone is talking about something related to architecture, there's a role for that. And if you click on those, then you'll be notified about that. And it also allows people who are trying to find, let's say, architects or software developers or some other tag they can use that in a chat, and then anybody who has selected that role will then be notified of it. So it's just a great way to get people together. And again, I'll give you a fuller tour of that in a separate video. The Learn, Share, Celebrate category is a really important one because it's kind of a general one that allows people to just to share updates about a bunch of different things that might be happening around the world or within our community related to carbon dioxide removal. And again, these might change a little bit over time, but if you click on that and you look at the channels, you see there's a news, events, grant opportunities, jobs, recommended reading, shout outs, which are celebrations of things that members have done, and other things like that. Now, the next set of categories are what we call mission categories. And so within OpenAir, missions are specific projects that people are working on that relate to that are to advance carbon dioxide removal in different ways. And those mission categories actually correspond to the different main domains of activity that we're active in. So advocacy missions, we do a lot of different work trying to pass bills and affect policy. Knowledge and education, these are missions that are related to just providing good information about carbon dioxide removal. R&D missions, these are for the makers within our community that are working on open source devices or doing citizen science. And then we have activist business development, where we have some missions that are related to trying to get a new business model or to help an existing CDR business overcome a goal. So those are the main mission categories that are all right on top of each other. If you click on any one of those, for example, the advocacy mission channel, there you'll have listed in alphabetical order all the different missions that we're currently working on related to advocacy. So you can click on any one of those and join those conversations. We also have at the top of every mission channel a general category. And up there, that's a good one to sort of ask general questions about advocacy. It's a good place to post ideas that you might have if you want to start your own mission, or you're working on a mission, or there's one that's going on outside of OpenAir that people should know about. So all mission categories have that sort of general one up top. And then the last one that we have are what we call CDR pathway channels. So there's a CDR pathway category. And it makes sense that we have this. This is just a place where people can talk about different forms of CDR that they're most interested in. We are a CDR support community. So it makes sense you want to create some space where people can kind of geek out and ask questions about their different forms of CDR that they're particularly into, whether it's marine or DAC or mineralization, et cetera, et cetera. And that will definitely grow over time. But that's a good place to just, again, geek out and talk about particular CDR pathways that are of interest to you. So those are the different categories that you'll see that you can use the communication panel to look at, open up, and participate in. But there's another function also of this panel that you can toggle to that's equally important. And this is where you can send direct messages to any other member of the community, okay? And so this is the direct message function of the communication panel. And that includes sending messages to individuals. And you can also create group direct messages where you might have 3, 4, 5, 6 people on it, okay? So that's a way to do that. And you do it right here in the same communication panel. And the way that you move back and forth between them is with one of the other components that I showed at the beginning of this video. And that's this guy right up here, which we call the server panel, is what we call it. And that's what allows you to toggle back and forth to make the communication panel either show channels and categories or direct messages. Now, when you go over there, you'll see a few different icons, and really only 2 of them really matter. The first one up top, which you'll see, which will be a little Discord insignia. If you click on that, that then turns the communication panel and shows direct messages where you can talk to other members. And then right below that, you'll see a OpenAir icon. And when you click on that, that's what gives you the channel and category view. Now, there are 2 other ones that'll probably be visible to you right below that. One will just show, let's say you're on Discord and you're a member of many different servers. That's where you can actually, see your other icons for other servers in addition to OpenAir. And then there's another one down there, which we don't use at all. So you don't really have to worry about those from an OpenAir participation perspective. Now, I want to go back to just a second about how DMs work. Again, very intuitive, but it's worth just a couple of words of description for that. This is what it looks like when you click on a person under the DM view. This is a member named Ungracious Bread. And again, just a chat box, very, very familiar to, across many different platforms, pretty intuitive. Below, just like with the channels, you can, type messages there. One thing I do want to point out that's useful is you'll see 2 little buttons there on a chat DM, on the chat DM. One is to add or remove a friend, and the other is to block. So for if any reason you want to block someone, you don't want them sending you a message, you can go ahead and click that for a particular person. But also adding a friend is important because it actually allows you to do group DMs with that person. So if you want to have a chat that's going maybe 3 or 4 people that's private, you have to friend them in order to be able to add them to one of those groups. And right here, you can see an example that I have for people that work on comms within OpenAir. You can see there, it says, CDR comms team, and it says 9 members. So that's a group chat that has 9 members that I started that have all been added to it. And the way that you add somebody to a group chat is just right up on the top of the panel there within the chat panel. You'll see there's a little icon. So let's see if you've created a chat with one person, let's say Peter in this case, but you want to add Cade or you want to add Tank. These are real members. You'd go up there and you'd click on that little person icon with the plus, and you can then go ahead and look up and add another person to it. But again, they have to be your friend in order for you to be able, they had to have accepted your friend in order for you to be able to add them to a group chat. Now, just 2 more different components on the dashboard that I do want to point out that are important before wrapping up. The first up here is this box on the very top that you'll see when you have the category channel view. It'll pop up, which has some really, really important and useful things in it. And when you look at it up close, you'll see that it says events, browse channels, and members. And I just want to tell you what we use those for. Starting with events. So this is where we list when missions or people get together or something is going on that's an event related to open air missions or activity. We actually list those in a little calendar up there, which is really, really useful. So when you click on that, you see something like this here, and it just lists in chronological order events that are coming up. And you can actually click on interested in that one little box to show that you plan on going. You can hit share to share it with somebody either inside or outside of the Discord. And then it also will provide the link to the Zoom or to whatever platform that people are meeting on. So that's a very, very important thing because so much of the stuff, the work that gets done actually happens through meetups and stuff like that. So you'll see them all listed under the events panel. Now, just below that, you'll see browse channels. And it does a couple things. I don't use it that often, but it's actually pretty useful. When you click on it, it just basically shows all the different channels that are available for you to look at. But it also allows you to click on a little tag on the right-hand side if you want to follow it or if you want it to be visible. So you click those on. If you don't want to see every single channel or every single category, you can go here and you can click on or off those. So if you're only interested in R&D or you're only interested in activist business development, you can actually go ahead and moderate what you actually see. And you can always go up there again and click on new things if you do want to see those. But it's just a way of managing visually everything that's sort of coming in. Now, the last one, which is a relatively new feature on Discord, is a really, really cool one that I use all the time. And that's the little members panel. And this is particularly useful for when you're trying to find different members who you might want to reach out to participate or share particular information with. It works really, really interestingly with the roles function, which I'll describe in another video. But this basically is a list of all the different members that we have in OpenAir. And you can see when they joined the server. Up here, you can click and it shows the roles that they're in. If you click on that roles sort of column there, you can then search up in the search bar. If you're looking for people that, again, are interested in, that selected a graphic design or activist or whatever role, if you're looking for people that have self-designated that that's a role they're interested in, this is a great way of finding those people. So very, very cool little just panel that shows all the different members that are within OpenAir. Now, the last one I'm going to show is very, very simple, but we think is actually quite important. And it's the one that's right down below the communications panel. It's just a little small thing next to the chat box. And the only piece of that little box that I really want to focus on is your name will be there and you can click on your icon. And the reason why that's important is this is where it allows you to actually type in a little bit about yourself. So, just a short little description of who you are, what you're interested in, maybe what you work on. It's up to you. But we like this because it allows other members, if they see you, they can click on it. Like, oh, wow, that's cool. He's an engineer in California, or he's a salesperson in Taiwan. It's just a great way to kind of just show people a little bit about yourself, which helps people kind of understand who you are when you're chatting, or it might sort of inspire them to reach out to you because they think that something that they work on might be of interest. So when you come in here, if you haven't already, do try to just hit that edit button under the About Me and type in a little bit of information about yourself. All right, so that is it. Hopefully that was helpful. Again, there's other sort of bells and whistles about Discord. I'll probably create another video that kind of looks at a few of those. But those are the main things we think you kind of need to know about how to be comfortable and productive and happy and well connected within Discord. Hopefully it was helpful. See you.